we got interested in using local clay or wild clay. It kind of started from sort of seeing historical pots. North Carolina has this amazing tradition of people using local clay that was kind of continuous.
We start the process of making our clay by measuring in this case, 2 different wild clays that we have. We measure them by the 5-gallon bucket full into these drums, and then we add water and mix it into a slip so that we can pour it through a screen. And with the screen, we actually have a couple of different sizes of screens, because at this point we're deciding how much of the coarse material, like little bits of sand and small pebbles, we want to leave in the clay. So this is in a lot of ways like one of the first aesthetic decisions that we're making. How fine a screen do we want to use? We then add some commercial powdered materials to it, like some feldspar and some fall clay. The feldspar actually helps it to vitrify or melt enough to be able to hold water, which is good for us because we're mostly making functional pots. We do this screening process, which usually takes maybe about 2 hours of screening and mixing and then pumping into the racks. And then we let the clay sit in the racks to dry to working consistency, and it really depends on the weather how long that process is going to take. Creatively using these wild local materials has been really fulfilling too, because every clay has its own character and limitations that sort of guide your practice. And then it's always sort of this dance too between how much do you want to take a clay that has its natural limitations and change it into something that can do more things, and how much do you want to just sort of explore what is this clay really good at doing, and how much of the character that's already there do we want to be able to maintain. So it just sort of is very ripe with lots of questions. There's always something to just kind of lead you a little further down the path.
The clay is like a collaborator. It has its limitations, but also possibilities. And we're constantly thinking like, oh, what do we want to do with the clay? But like, what does this clay want to do if it can't work in the way that maybe we're accustomed to working?
People who work with the land here in one way or another, either by farming or using excavators and digging roads, know clay because it's actually usually a nuisance to them. It's like the sticky stuff that gets stuck on the bottom of their tractor wheels, or in a farm, like a field, it's where the water isn't draining as well.
I think one of the facets of using local clay that wasn't intentional as a reason to do it, but that has been sort of almost a really wonderful side effect, is like our connection to both the place and the people where we live, the connection to the geology, but also to the community. It's really been like one of the main ways we've found clays is by creating relationships with our neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah.